The great 18th century French player André Philidor once stated that the pawns are the soul of chess. Now, most beginners throw away pawns as if they were pennies, but grandmasters know that pawns can be deadly, particularly as they get closer and closer to the other side of the board and threaten to become devastating queens. In this game you're about to see, former world champion Boris Spassky shows his opponent just what happens when a pawn scores a touchdown. This first move is a bit unusual, as most of the time you want to push pawns to control the center of the board. But there is a good reason behind the move. Larsen wants to develop his bishop to b2 and control the long central diagonal. Spassky plays to control the center, and in his next few moves he will bring out all his pieces. Larsen attacks the pawn. Spassky defends. Black wants to take the knight on f3 with his pawn. White had to move the knight, but take a look at where he puts it, in the center of the board. Grandmasters will not put their pieces anywhere else if they can help it. Notice how Spassky systematically develops a new piece with every move. Do not try to fight with a sleeping army. Every piece must be thrown into the battle from the beginning of the game. Black whisks his king to safety behind a few pawns, and he plants his rook on a beautiful open line. Now that's a bad move. White should have hopped his knight to c3, and then he could castle to safety. Black goes on the offensive, threatening to lunge his queen to h4, checking the white king. Now you may say, well, how did he know that it was the right time to attack? Well, here's the secret. When your two rooks are connected along the back rank like this, you're ready. That's because you have to move everything else out of the way and into the fight in order to connect your rooks. Remember that. Connect the rooks, then attack. That move stops the queen from checking at h4. Keep a close eye on this pawn. It's destined to become a star. White is trying to attack, but look at his pieces. They're all still at home, not developed and ready to fight. In situations like this, grandmasters know that something bad should happen. That's a fantastic move. Black doesn't even care about his knight. He wants his pawn to become a super powerful force. White can't even take it because then the black queen would devour the pawn and give check to the white king. Now the pawn is only 2 steps away. White stops the pawn and is now planning to take it. Now try to figure out Black's next move. Boom! First it was a knight, and now Black gives up a rook. That shows you just how important a passed pawn can be. Now the pawn is only 1 step away. In this position, White has 2 ways to try to stop the pawn's progress. Play the rook to g1 or to f1. In the actual game, he chose rook to f1. But let's take a look at what would have happened if he had chosen to put his rook on g1 instead. Check. Even the queen is ready to sacrifice herself so that the passed pawn can score. Check. That's why White played the other move. Now let's go back and see what actually happened. White tries to give away his rook for the pawn, but black's not having any of it. Check. Touchdown! The pawn's a queen. In this position, white gave up because he saw that he was dead. If the bishop takes the queen, then bishop to g4 check. Check. And when the king moves to c1, the black queen can thunder down to e1 with check. Check. The white queen must block, but then queen takes queen is checkmate. A beautiful game by Spassky.